Greetings, one and all. My name is Andy, and this is Craftalytical, where we talk about all things creative in relation to mental and physical health. Now, today I want to talk about true crime and the overlap with conspiracy theories. Before I do that, just a little friendly reminder, please hit the like, subscribe, the bell for notifications, share my videos, get the word out there. It is honestly the best way to help my channel. I really hope to grow this into something that we can all be proud of as a community. Now, I'm not an expert. I'm not. I'm training. As of yesterday, I started my training to become a therapist. But I use my lived experience and the lived experience of others to share creativity of all kinds and its benefits on mental and physical health. I also interview the experts from time to time. And as part of that, I really have to look at what leads me to watch so much true crime. I listen to podcasts, I watch, on streaming services. I like a whole bunch of YouTube channels. I've linked some of them before on true crime and law and old cases, trials of the century run by Ian Runkle, Rob from Law and Lumber, and Scott Cardinal, who is a historian. Is just fascinating to me. Now, I don't really like unsolved stuff. I'm far too anxious for that. I need to know that the bad guy gets it, even if it takes 30 years and a new detective who wasn't born at the time when the crime was committed to solve it. I need to know that the evidence is preserved and someone is going to get caught eventually. For me, it's also about justice. I like to see people get justice. As part of that, I do enjoy delving into the conspiracy theories behind it. So there are some cases where, DB Cooper is an unsolved case, but there are a bunch of conspiracy theories and, ideas of who may have been or may be DB Cooper. That kind of thing I'm really into. I spent 50 or 60 hours researching Flat Earth, not because I believe all of these conspiracies, but because I like to understand the other side. I like to be educated. I like to educate myself. I like to do my own research. I like to listen to lots of different sources and make my own mind up. But there is a rabbit hole you can go down that becomes dangerous, either to yourself or other people. So one of the more famous cases that is talked about is Elisa Lam. Now, it became a big thing when she disappeared. They released footage of her seemingly talking to someone and acting strangely, getting into a lift. Her body wasn't found straight away. There were conspiracy theories, internet sleuths who, don't get me wrong, some of whom have done a really thorough, wonderful job and have genuinely helped to solve crimes. But they pinned the blame on the wrong person. They pinned the blame on a gothic rock star from Mexico who happened to stay in the same hotel a year after Elisa Lam went missing. Now, there's still conspiracy theories, despite the case being closed, and her family have to live through those conspiracy theories. They have to contend with them. They have to contend with a new news story popping up or someone posting a video about the latest theory. And it's the same for famous people who have been assassinated or have gone missing. You know, we're still talking about the Lindbergh baby, or Lizzie Borden, or Jack the Ripper. Now, those historical cases may not have anyone who is closely tied to them, but we're still talking about them. We're still fascinated by how these things could happen. But when you have a more recent case where immediate family, immediate friends are still alive, we have to be careful with how we present conspiracy theories. So, and the damage that it may do to someone who is accused of committing a crime, who, you know, for instance, Morbid is still getting death threats over his supposed interaction and, you know, guilt in Elisa Lam's case. He wasn't there. It's been proven he wasn't there, but he is still getting death threats. We need to be careful with our conspiracy theories and how they are presented. If you're going to talk about them, make sure that you say they are not fact, that it is your conspiracy theory, your question. Please don't present them as fact, because they can be really harmful to the true victims, whether that's the victim themselves, the family, friends, community that are involved, or someone who is wrongly accused and will have to live the rest of their life being wrongly accused. It's so important. Now, this has happened recently with a missing teenager. They were missing for 2 weeks. They were eventually found submerged in their car. There were a lot of conspiracy theories. I had my own. I had my own suspicions over what may or may not have happened. But even after they were found, these conspiracy theories ran wild. Fingers were pointed. People who were accused in the media, on YouTube, on Twitter, or wherever, had to lawyer up, had to protect themselves, couldn't go home, which hampers the police investigation. And also the family, who are grieving, who are shocked, who don't have answers, are having to contend with this content wherever it is, whether it's mainstream media or not. And these content providers have a spin. They want your clicks. So it is going to be sensationalized, and they are going to chase down whatever wild theory they can to get your view over another channel or another network. So all I ask from all of us, from myself included, is that we do a bit of research. We look at multiple sources, that we don't get led down a rabbit hole, that we don't get to the point that some people have got where they are fanatical about their belief, their conspiracy theory, to the point where, you know, we've got people calling CPS or swatting people because they believe something different. You just have to look at the Depp v. Heard trial to see that happening. The misinformation, the disinformation, and the sensationalism of it has led people to be so deep in their belief that they are calling CPS on content providers' households. They are trying to get their children taken away. They are swatting them. They are calling the police and saying, this person has a gun, or this person is a danger. That's not okay. It's not. It's dangerous. It's irresponsible. And it is just going to get people harmed. It's not okay. It's all right to have a different opinion from someone else. You don't have to agree with me on anything, as long as you're respectful. I understand that you may not agree with me, and I may not agree with you. That's all it is. We can have a healthy debate and not get to the point where you're going to call the police and ask them to swap my house. It goes too far, and it is damaging. It is damaging to that content creator or that presenter, host of a TV show, to their family, to their children. I mean, who brings children into this kind of thing? It's also damaging to the true victims of a situation. To have someone acting in your defense in that way, or acting against your best wishes, is damaging. It is not a good situation for anyone. So in the case of this missing teen, where conspiracy theories run wild, that's a grieving family, grieving friends, a grieving community that are having to contend with this, who are hearing people present a theory like it is fact about their child, about their friend, about their community. And it is harmful to everyone. So all I ask, do some research, look at different content providers, give them your likes and your views, that's not a problem, but make sure you listen to as many sources as possible, read as many sources as possible, educate yourself on police investigation procedure, on how these people are found and the circumstances in which most of them are found. There are plenty of really good providers of true crime who go into more detail about what happens post-mortem. So you can educate yourself so that these conspiracy theories are something you can think about logically and make a choice over what you believe and what you don't, and then use that responsibly and respectfully. Don't go after someone. Don't go for personal attacks just because they don't agree with you, please. Because I have seen on many channels that, true crime fans, people like myself and some of the people I know, being labeled as crazies. And, it's really harmful. I'm not a crazy. I educate myself on these things. I learn about anatomy and, the icky stuff that happens after someone passes, so that I am informed. And the vast majority of true crime people I know are not conspiracy theorists. They know about conspiracy theories, but they discuss them as that, theories. And they aren't fanatical. They aren't. And it is really important not to label a whole genre-loving group of people as that kind of damaging subculture. It's stereotyping just by watching one or two channels where the fans are allowed to act that way. I'm not a morbid person. I am not a creepy person. I don't think I am. I just enjoy watching justice happen, crimes being solved no matter how long it takes. And I would love to see an end to people going missing and never being found. And, no one being taken from this world and left to anonymity. And that's what fascinates me about it. I'm not fanatical about that. And I am not going to act in an outrageous way because someone has a different view of how a crime was committed or what happened afterwards or the trial of it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is don't label people. Don't get caught up in the rabbit hole. Don't get caught up in the frenzy and sink into it like a cult fervor. And be careful of what you say online. Remain respectful of other people. Remember that there is someone still alive that is involved in that conspiracy theory, that cold case or resolved case that is still discussed. And keep it clean. No personal attacks. That's my thoughts on it. Do you like true crime? Do you get something else from true crime? How do you feel about conspiracy theories? Let me know in the comments below, because I love to hear other people's experience of these things, how they got into it and what they get out of watching these types of programs or content. My name's Andy. This is Croftalytical. I hope this hasn't strayed too far away from our usual subject. Just give the video a like, subscribe, hit the bell notification and share it with anyone that you think it may interest. It's the best way to help my channel. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you, and I will speak to you soon.